Okay, now Draygon time. So again, we have a mentor tournament going on, and I figured it would be helpful to show off some stuff for different boss fights to help people like get used to them, get them able to survive the boss fights in different situations. Okay, so first things first, dealing with the turrets. A lot of people do like this where they kind of jump up and down trying to get the turrets. Problem with this is you've got that turret just shooting at you while you're trying to jump up at the other one. So my safe method, there's a lot of ways people do this. My method is I just look for the spots on the ground and know where I can shoot from. So here, I'm looking for this little pipe that's just left of the crab. So it's the right side of this pipe that has like a weird texture. If I stand right here, shoot 3, I know those are gonna hit in the middle of the turret. The next one is a bit tough. It's this little thing right here. I don't even know how to describe it, but like that one piece of debris to the left of this pipe, this vertical pipe in the ground. So if I stand here with the camera pushed forward, so like camera matters for this sort of thing. So if I come from here and then do this, I think those missiles are just gonna despawn before they hit. Never mind, I lied, so it just works. Okay, it just works, I think. So yeah, anyway, we go here, do the one by the crab, 3 missiles, stand on this guy, and then this pipe right here. Like this pipe, the debris left of this pipe, and then the pipe left of the crab. Those are my 3 spots, so I know I'm gonna hit, I'm not gonna waste ammo, and I can dodge the turrets effectively here. Sometimes the turrets are still gonna be troll. I find it's helpful to dodge toward the turret. So like, if I'm here, let's say, if I do this, if I'm shooting at this guy and he shoots at me, if I try to dodge this way, it's actually harder to not get hit because like, yeah, see, if I'm over here, it's just gonna be there. Whereas if I dodge toward it, it's much more reliable to actually dodge a projectile. If I walk toward the turret, I find that's more consistent. That might just be my Hollow Knight experience talking, but yeah, that would be my recommendations, because I think what happens more often than not is like if I'm trying to do this, do that, and then I turn around and then there's a shot following me. Whereas if I dodge toward the turret, I give it time to get its shot out, and then I can go over here and do the others. Oop. Okay, that one I moved a bit too quick, but yeah. Anyway, mind the projectiles while you're doing this, but I still find this to be safer. Next up is the easy kill method called microwave. Most of y'all are gonna know how to do this, but I figured I'd show it off since I'm here. Boop, boop, boop. So now that we've killed all the turrets, we just wait for Draygon. We want to sit in X-ray with X-ray equipped and charge beam. Some people use the music to know when Draygon's gonna come on screen. I like to moonwalk back so I see when these little baby Draygons are at the end, and then I'll jump forward, crouch, and then release the shot. And then most of you know you're using X-ray to reset the iframes of the plasma beam. So you're just releasing the shot, then after the shot has traveled a bit, you press run to activate X-ray. So now it's active. So now it's not going to do damage till it touches her. And now the important part is the speed of the repress. When I let go of X-ray, the beam is going to travel a bit. When I repress it, it's going to stop. The longer you let it travel, the fewer hits you're going to get in this cycle. So I'm just like, as quickly as possible. You can even do it like, hold the button down, make sure you're good, and just focus on the repress. Make sure that's as fast as possible. You can do it a good bit faster, but the quicker the repress is, the more damage you're going to get, and she's dead. So that's X-ray. That's by far the easiest version of the fight. So there's 3 things people generally look for the Draygon death. I like to watch the eyeball. For some reason, she's like flashing extra white for me this time. I don't know why. She doesn't normally do this. So here, when I see the eyeball is just angled up like that, normally she's looking down at you. But as soon as I see the eyeball turn, I know she's dead, because like if you watch the death animation, her eyeball's just spinning. So that's my indicator that I look for to know she's dead. Other people use an audio cue. because for some reason a grapple sound plays when she dies. That one's hard to show off, but I'll show off the other one. So another thing is, when Draygon dies, for some reason, it forces Samus to stand up. So if you crouched before doing the X-ray, you can just watch Samus to know when Draygon is dead. So I'm doing this, going, right there. Samus stood up, so I know she's dead. So a couple quick ways of knowing she's dead, so you can save a few seconds of not microwaving for too long. Yeah, now we'll talk about grapple. We're gonna set the RNG from left goop. Okay. Generally, if you're going for the grapple kill, you just want to sit here and morph, so she's not actually gonna hit you. So, like, I can just sit here and she'll never hit. Okay, cool. We're gonna drop a power bomb to skip past all this. We'll show off what the right side grapple looks like first. And then we'll talk about some finer details. So I've set the RNG, so she's gonna goop now. So for this, it's pretty easy. You just stand here in the corner, and then right about when Samus reaches this point, that's when I hit the grapple button. And you just hold the button down and she dies, right? So that is by far the easiest setup for this. So you just come here, stand in the corner, wait for the goop to get to you. Boom. Easy, reliable, all you have to do is time one button press. Now, what will happen sometimes is something like this. Draygon making me a liar again. Okay, yeah, this can happen. Where, like, I'm grabbed by the goop, but she kind of just ignores me. The reason this happens is because Draygon has a specific cycle. She will start her goop, and then eventually she'll finish gooping, and if she's already finished gooping by the time you get hit by the goop, she's just gonna continue with her cycle as if the goop didn't hit you at all. So how do we fix that? Well, you may notice if I'm over here, she starts gooping as soon as she's on screen. If I'm over here, if you listen, she didn't start gooping until right there. And that's because the goop phase doesn't start until Draygon comes on screen. So we can control that. So basically my advice is just never, if you're waiting for the goop, never sit on the left side of the screen. Because for whatever reason, when she's going left to right, this happens way more often. So instead, I just sit like just right of center, and that gives enough time for this to reliably work. And then you just go to the corner, wait for the goop. Okay, she missed, but yeah, that doesn't normally happen. Some goops, boom. Now left side is a bit more complicated. All right, so now she's gonna goop from the right side. I'm gonna try to make it happen. I've never actually had the goop not work on the left side. That might just be because how I do it. Let's see if I can force it to happen. Yeah, even there, she grabbed me. So like, right to left, it seems much more reliable for the goop to actually work. Okay, now, it still worked. She was done with the goop phase. So for whatever reason, right to left is different than left to right, like everything else in this game. So that's why I just always sit on slightly to the right of the arena so that it works on either side regardless of which direction she comes from. The other reason I do that is because for the right to left goop, you have to do a jump, and right there, the second goop hit me and it canceled my jump essentially. There's some like shenanigans where like if the goop hits you in the top half, it can hit stun you and knock you back down. If it hits in the bottom half, it doesn't. I could have those backwards. My solution is just don't get hit by two goops, which is really hard to do if the goop starts over here because they're like really clustered together. Yeah, see, I just got hit by a second goop because she was just in my face. That's the other reason I always sit on the right side of the arena, because now I get to wait and let them spread out a bit before I get hit by one goop. And then I do this. But yeah, the left side is just generally harder to get right on this. So because you need to jump. If I just do this from the ground, it's not gonna, if it does work, it's very hard to make it work. So you pretty much have to jump when you're on the left side. So get up to here. So you kind of want to be level with the turret when she actually grabs you. Let's try. I was a little too high there. Yeah, see right there? I'm trying to like pay attention to when she's about to grab me and then jump so that when I actually get grabbed, I'm level with the turret, and that puts me at just the right spot to time my grapple so it actually works. Boom, like that. And again, left side is harder. It takes a bit more practice. So if I'm ever like iffy about whether I'm gonna take too many hits trying to get this grapple or it's gonna take me multiple tries, I just always hold out for the left side. So what I'll do a lot of times, let's see, I'm doing a Suitless Draygon on low health. So like what I'll do, I'll just sit here in Morph Ball, roll back and forth a little bit. Okay, so now I'm not sure, I'm not confident in getting this kill, so I'm just gonna sit here, power bomb that so she doesn't grab me, and I'm gonna hold out to wait for the right side, because getting to the left side Suitless is just really hard. I don't have a ton of health for this because I'm Suitless. She's doing it again, so I just drop a power bomb, let it grab me even, so she'll cancel early. Okay, now we got the right side. I know because of how long she paused, knowing the timing of the swoops is really helpful here, because the goop, she always pauses longer when she's about to goop than when she's about to swoop. So that's another thing. If you can get a feel for the rhythm of when she's coming on screen, you can figure out when the goop is coming and just be over here in time before you actually need to be ready to grapple. Because if you're Suitless and you get gooped in the middle of the room, you're not gonna get that grapple kill. Yes, Axel, good point. Yeah, we mentioned the timing being, like paying attention to the timing and the rhythm of like when the swoop comes on. Right side, just generally speaking, is always going to be slower. Why? I don't know. Left side versus right side is different. So yeah, you're gonna have more time to react from the right for the right side goop. The left side goop is gonna come a bit faster. But again, yeah, like if I'm Suitless or if I'm just worried whether or not I'm gonna get the grapple kill on the left side, I just hold out for the one I want. And if you have power bombs, you can do that pretty reliably. But yeah, as far as health, you saw I was at like 399 and it took me down below 200 health. The numbers for this are, Suitless Draygon is your base. So Suitless Draygon with grapple takes 240 health to kill. So like if you have 2 tanks, then you can take 58 health worth of damage from hits before you really can't do the grapple kill anymore. Any damage you do with like missiles and supers will reduce that number. So like that's the other thing with this grapple kill. Like if you know you're doing a Suitless grapple kill, you may as well just spam missiles at the beginning of the fight to get that health threshold down a little bit, to make it a little bit safer. But yeah, baseline is 240, and then every suit you get cuts that in half. So with gravity only or Varia only in map rando, it will cut it down to 120 health. And if you have both suits, it will be 60 health. So like you can do this on extremely low health if you have double suits, but for every suit you don't have, you double the damage you're gonna take. So 240, 120, and 60 are the numbers to remember. Okay. So now that we've talked about grapple kill, we've talked about the microwave kill, let's talk about an ammo kill. This is where you really just have to understand the mechanics of the fight. First thing is, having a good opener is really nice. So again, we can watch the little baby Draygons to know when she's about to come on screen. I wait till like the second one disappears, second to last one, and then I just jump forward and spam missiles. So just watch these guys. 2 left, 1 left, go. And then I'll just throw 1 missile in at the end. For Draygon's health, she has 20 supers worth of health. So 20 supers will kill her outright. And then every super is worth 3 missiles. So it's like 20 supers or 60 missiles. So like 10 supers and 20 missiles is like, yeah, it's like 3/4 of the way there, almost. Not quite, but almost. So we're gonna have to farm during this fight. And so just like we were saying before with the grapple section, the goop spawns when it comes on screen. So in order to have as much time as possible to get damage in on Draygon, we want to actually spawn the goop early. Grapple kill is different from ammo kill in that with grapple you want to get gooped late so you have time to get in position. With the ammo kill, you want the goop to spawn early so that the goop phase will finish early so that you can get more damage in before she goes off screen. So that's what we're doing here. We're rolling back and forth. We're following where she comes from, and then we want to power bomb the goop so it's out of our way, and then we can missile, super, and then roll under. Another note is for this goop phase, her up and down pattern is always the same. If she'll do it for me. There. So like you see, she goes up, then down, then up, then down. So like roughly speaking, around this crab is always safe. So like if you just stand at this crab and shoot, and then morph when she gets close, you'll be fine. You don't have to like figure out where she's going and dodge and whatnot. You just can always know where the safe spot is. So like if you're really worried about taking damage, just stand in this spot and it's gonna be roughly here on the right side, and then you'll be safe. When you start trying to run away and go over here, that's when you're probably gonna get hit. So yeah, so power bomb is what we're talking about right now. So one thing that you might do, you might lay the power bomb, okay, cool. And then you go to shoot. Oh wait, there's more goop that's eating my shots, or maybe you missed it and then you got grabbed. That's why when you're doing this, you want to actually delay the power bomb a bit. So I let it roll for a bit, go there. Now we're on a good cycle. Also, you can't get hit by the goop. If you get hit by the goop and the power bomb is what gets rid of the goop, then that's what makes Draygon run away. But if I don't get gooped before the power bomb goes off, then she'll just continue her cycle on her merry way, and you can get your damage in. So we do this, have power bombs equipped, roll a little bit, boom, like that. Missile, super, roll. And I didn't get a ton of damage in, but I took no hits. So this is kind of what I'm trying to get at, is like, how do you do this safely? So like when you're in a pinch, when you're like 1 hit left, how do you keep going in the fight and stay alive? So two there, boom. And we just do this over and over. But again, like we said, she takes 20 supers to kill. So we're gonna run out of ammo here. Like, she's not dead yet, and we don't have enough ammo to kill, so I'm gonna change my beam real quick. Because plasma makes this a little overpowered. So we're gonna do like wave spazer. Let's try that. So you're not doing this with basic beam. You can do this with basic beam, but this will make you feel a little bit better. So we roll back and forth. Now we're out, so we need to farm. So again, if you remember, this spot right here is always safe. So we just go back and forth, wait. As soon as the goop comes through, we roll a little bit or run a little to the right and then start shooting. Shoot. Find her spot, sit here, wait for it till she's gone, go collect the drops. Again, knowing her pattern and knowing where your safe spots are is pretty crucial to actually having good farm strats here. Still, it's going to be hard to not get grabbed by the goop, but yeah, like if you know the cycle and know where it's safe to stand, it's infinitely easier to actually farm this. And here, morph, go under, pick up your missiles. Okay, now super drops are pretty rare, so the missiles are just what we're going to have to depend on. But now we got the ammo. Do our power bomb, roll over here, find our safe spot, shoot a bunch. Okay, still have 12 missiles, so I'm just going to do another damage phase instead of trying to farm. Okay, she's stalled, so that's another goop. roll a little bit, play the power bomb, get in position, and she's dead. So yeah, that is the Draygon fight. Trying to think, is there anything else I need to go over? Does the goop never drop ammo from PB? No, it does not. Yeah, when you power bomb the goop, it will never drop anything. You have to destroy the goop with beams. Thank you for asking that. I didn't think to mention. I think that's everything. But again, yeah, Draygon fight is like, I've always considered Draygon and Ridley to be roughly similar in terms of difficulty, but they're very different kinds of difficulty. Ridley is just very fast, very intense. There's a lot going on. He damages you, like, he can kill you really fast with just a couple hits. And like, if you make one mistake, you're done. Draygon, on the other hand, is like, there's a definite method. There are like rules to this fight that you can learn and kind of work out as you go, and you have time to think about your decisions between cycles and things. So like there's a lot more safe options, a lot more ways you can just kind of sit in the fight and think about what to do next in a way you can't with Ridley. It's still a very hard fight, but once you know the methods and the rules to it, it becomes a lot more approachable. So hopefully, once I get this video edited down into something like watchable, hopefully this will help people out and help people get along their way to feeling more confident in the Draygon fight. Oh, right, escaping Draygon afterward. If you have gravity, in any scenario, you can always gravity jump this. So you pause, press jump before the pause fade out. I was too late. The later you can press jump, the better, as long as you actually get the jump. So here, press jump there. That should work. I hit the wrong. Nope, that didn't work. A little aggressive with these. So you could do that. That one worked. And it's disable gravity. And then you're up. You can also, if you have high jump and speed, you can just speedy jump this. So like if you get some runway, you can do this, just get up that way. Just wall jump there. If you're here, you still need like 2 tiles of runway, but you can speedy jump from that. Those are like the fastest ways of getting up. Obviously, if you have space jump, you can get out that way. But what if you've done like a suitless grapple kill? Did a suitless grapple kill on Draygon, how do you get out? If you have a dry room over here, you can cross room jump. So I could just do this, not that. You need to jump before the door frame. But if you do that, you should be able to get up. This is different based on your loadout. It also might be different based on runway. I'm curious. If I do this, I don't know if I got the jump there. Okay, that one works. Yeah, speed booster does weird things to your jump height, so, and high jump does too, so it can get weird. I'm actually hitting every one of these, so let's try early. If I do this, this is a really bad one. But like that ledge at the ceiling is like really good at making you bonk your head. So you do have to be pretty careful with these. Yeah, that one, like, it was decently late. This one might still bonk. No, that doesn't bonk. Okay. Barely made it. So yeah, you can cross room jump. You want to cross room jump as late as possible so that you don't bonk your head on that. Let's do with high jump, no speed, and see what that looks like. I seem to remember this one being actually the harder version. So do this. That was definitely early, so that's gonna bonk. Yeah. Also early. I think that was as late as possible there. Yeah, we got it. That gets me up. Yeah. I think high jump actually just makes this harder because you're more likely to bonk. With speed, it's not so bad because you get more forward momentum, but like, yeah, that was pretty late and it still bonked. So like you almost have to get last frame cross room jump here for this to work. That one worked, just barely. So I've found in this scenario, if you struggle with this cross room jump, it's actually easier to just turn high jump off. I think that might have been too late. No, I got it. And like, even then, you saw with high jump, I made it just barely to the ledge. Without high jump, I made it all the way to the door. Like, because I'm not hitting the ceiling as early, yeah, this one would bonk with high jump, but I made it through. So it's definitely more lenient if you turn off, if you don't have speed, just turn off high jump. and it will make this jump much more lenient if you're struggling with it. That was almost frame perfect. The other thing is, you actually like really don't need any runway. You can do this with just the door frame. So like in some scenarios, you'll be in a room where the door frame just drops off. Like there's no runway before the door frame, it just drops. So like this is as much runway as you get. Even this is enough. It's really tight. You have to get a really good jump from the door frame, but this one does work. So let me see if I can show that off. Yeah, here we go. This is the one I was thinking of. So here you can see, okay, I was definitely not far enough back. Yeah, you can see like when you enter the room. So when you enter the room, the door frame is flush with this ledge, but this is still enough. So the way we do this is moonwalk back to the ledge, jump, turn around. Now we're on the last pixel of the ledge. This does work, barely. That looked like a really good one, actually. That looked like last frame. So now I'm past this. Not quite. So like that was almost a perfect jump. It didn't quite reach. So we need one more step to make this work. I think that might bonk. Yeah, it does. So like even this, you still have to be like as late as possible. So like if you're doing this without Varia in this particular room, it's gonna suck. But it is possible. You just only have so many tries because of your health. That seemed a little early still. Yeah. Still early. And again, this is really hard, but like it's one of those like if you're in a pinch and you need this to work, you can do it. So if you morph on the way up while maintaining momentum, so you're continuing to hold jump and you press down, down, right, then that lets you actually go a little bit higher before you bonk the ceiling, and that gives you just enough extra range to make this jump. It's really tight, but it does work. So like do this, get through, morph, boom, just barely. So even if all you have is a door frame, it is possible to cross room jump out of this. So if you're ever like looking in the map on Map Rando and you see, oh, there's a dry room to the left of Draygon, it might suck to do, but it is possible to get out as long as you have morph. Without morph, I don't know if it's possible. It might still be, maybe with speed. Let's actually look at that. What does speed do to this? I'm sure high jump makes this worse, but with speed it might be better. Because I know this works, I tend to just turn everything off because it's gonna take me several tries regardless. So that's an early jump. Do I bonk? Yes. Yeah, speed with this short of a runway, speed might make this worse. No, it's better actually. Okay. So if you don't have high jump, if it's speed without high jump, this actually works better. Does it work if I don't morph? It does. Okay. So with nothing, you need to morph before you hit the ceiling to make it. With speed only, you don't need morph. Which, most likely, if you're doing the Draygon fight, you have morph. So it's not something you normally need to think about. What about high jump and speed? Is that better or worse? What am I doing? Equipment. High jump and speed. A little early. Should bonk. Yeah. That's a good one. That still bonks. Okay. Yeah, I think if you have high jump turned on, this just doesn't work. I think this is in very hard or expert. I don't think this is in hard. Like, this is not a logical way of getting out of Draygon by any stretch in most race settings, but like, it's Draygon. You want to do the boss as soon as you can because it's an objective. So like, there are a lot of situations where you're just gonna want to do the fight and then you need a way to escape. So I'm just throwing this at the end of the video so people know, like, hey, if you want to do a grapple, if you see Draygon and there's a grapple kill and there's a dry room to the left, you can know that it is possible to escape. Whether or not you want to go through the effort of doing a door frame cross room jump, but as long as it's a dry room, it is possible. And the more runway you have, the easier it is. Can you do grapple bounce? I cannot, no. That's actually in one of my practice presets to learn, but I haven't gotten it down yet. I can show you part of it. This one I think is common in like vanilla randomizer, because a lot of times, like in the vanilla map randomizer, the left door is just always waterlogged, so you can't cross room jump that one. So what Synth is referring to is something like this. So like that right there. When you release grapple and you're moving up, you can morph and unmorph repeatedly in the air to continue what's called grapple jumping. So you morph, then you unmorph, then press jump. So if you don't have spring ball, you can do, I think, down, down, jump, jump is the input. Because I don't like to have to think about my loadout, I just do down, down, up, jump as my input. But the important thing is you morph, unmorph, jump. Morph, unmorph, jump. And as long as you left grapple while moving upward, you can do that. But as you saw, the way I did it, I just bonked my head on that. So there's another step of this that my hands haven't quite figured out, which is like drifting to the left. The inputs are kind of crazy for this, so I can't. Yeah, like that. And I still missed it. I'm shocked I got that. But like you have to find a way to release grapple and shift to the left so you actually get around the thing on the ceiling, which involves like pressing jump when you bounce on this ledge here, because for some reason pressing jump makes you bounce higher, and I guess that makes you move further left when you release the grapple. But if your timing is off, you just end up on the ground. It's weird. My hands don't understand this trick yet. I can tell you what's supposed to happen. I cannot tell you how to do it. So yeah, I almost had it. That's the closest I've ever been to actually getting that one. But yeah, just so you're aware, that is another option for leaving. Takes a lot of practice. I'm not qualified to explain it yet, but that is something to look into if you're curious about it. But yeah, hopefully that helps a lot of people understand the Draygon fight and understand what your options are for like even escaping the room. Because like even if you have the ability to kill Draygon, like if you have grapple beam or a microwave capability, that doesn't always mean you can kill Draygon and keep that Draygon kill, because you need to be able to escape the room. So pay attention to your maps when you're thinking about doing a Draygon kill. Make sure you can actually leave. And if you're good with cross room jumps, all you really need is a dry room on the other side. Or yeah, gravity suit on its own is enough. So it's like gravity suit or cross room jump are the first two things I would advise looking for in that scenario. But yeah, yeah, hopefully this helps. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video, whenever that is. Might be 2 years, might be 2 weeks. Who knows?